What do you think of the nominees? Who do you want to stay? Do you care if any of them go? Let me know in the comments who you're voting for. Big Brother UK 2025 episodes 20 and 21. Yesterday the secret housemates entered the house and they were in there for about 0.03 seconds and Frida was automatically like, you need to put your energy into the house and stop focusing on Marcus. This is boring. This house has got no energy. And I was like, fuck up, Frida. Also, when they went into the bedroom, Richard was lying there. I think he was fully dressed at that point. Does that man ever sleep? Frida was on Tasia's back. Oh, you're easily influenced. You're just a young girl, blah, blah, blah. See all this ageist shit? I can't be fucked with it. Just because she's young doesn't mean anything. She hasn't came across to me as being easily influenced. Okay, they're saying that she goes to face Shola and Zila, like when she's expressing opinions, but I think that people are saying that about her because of the whole Caroline situation, but I think she just wasn't arguing with Caroline because Caroline was talking absolute fucking shit. And when somebody's talking shit like that, there's no point in wasting your energy on them. Caroline was in the diary room like, Farida is going to be causing some shit and I'm going to sit back and watch the show. Emily was saying to Caroline, oh, I know Nigel too. If anybody says anything, I'll be in your corner. And I was just thinking, do you know what, Emily? Nobody really gives a fuck. Frida was saying to the house, like, you talk about politics too much, it's boring. I'm always saying I don't think they should be allowed to talk about politics at all. But then later, Shola was in the diary room and she says, oh, like, I mean, I talk about politics a lot because everything's political. It's only political if you make it that way. Once Frida had been in the house for about 10 minutes, she says to Jenny, oh, just because you don't like to clean up doesn't mean to say you don't have to pull your weight. Just because somebody cooks doesn't mean to say they don't have to clean up. And she's like trying to like fucking pull the ranks and tell everybody what to do. I'd have been like, who the fuck are you? Who made you fucking queen of the house? She's going around telling the house, oh, this is what the public think, and then saying things about Marcus and Elsa, and then Elsa's paranoid out her box that Marcus is going to pull away because now he feels like he looks like a wee puppy dog, which he doesn't. Anybody watching the show can see that it's her following him about. So they had a party and they were allowed VIP guests. Frida chose Cameron, hello, of course. Emily chose Caroline and Sam chose Nancy, and I was loving Caroline's outfit. Cameron was in the diary room and he says, oh, it feels really good to have been voted like popular, and they says, oh, we voted Cameron as the most popular because we wanted to give him a confidence boost, and then he was sitting going, it feels good to be like picked as a VIP. Every time that boy speaks, I could just greet. Frida was out dancing in the garden all by herself, and Richard was trying to talk to her, and she's like, oh, I just love my own company because like when I was growing up I was like told that I had to do certain things and I didn't want to follow the rules and all that, and you've got to really like love spending time yourself. And you know what? I actually think that as a whole, right, Frida is a nice person, but she does my fucking nothing. Nancy was telling Elsa that she fancies Emily, and Elsa was saying that she used to have a girlfriend, and she says, I had a girlfriend but her ex was texting her who used to be a stripper. And I was very confused because I think that Elsa's quite young and she went out with her ex-boyfriend for a few years, right, since she was like 16 or 17. So when she was going out with this girl whose ex was a stripper, what age was her girlfriend? I'm confused. So Marcus had an absolute fucking attitude problem, and he was saying, oh, I'm irrelevant in this house. People think that I'm just following Elsa about like a puppy. Nobody thinks that, right? And I didn't understand why they didn't go to him and say, that's not what we mean, but apparently Frida and that didn't even know that they had an argument last night. And when Big Brother called some people at the diary room, he was in the shower like, oh, I might as well just not be here. You might as well just not put me, or have me in the house. And I thought, what the fuck? Like, see if I was in the Big Brother house and somebody came in and made out as if I was a bit irrelevant, I'd be thinking, maybe I might make it through to the final. And for me, going in wouldn't even be about the money or winning. It would literally be about the experience, but I'd be like, oh aye, this could get me a wee bit further. But for whatever reason, he had a fucking attitude problem. He was insecure as fuck. And I was talking to one of my friends who works with like mental health people, and he was saying that he thinks he's got cabin fever. Now, I don't know much about that, but if you do, you can let me know in the comments. So then Elsa was talking to Caroline and she wasn't even talking about him when he looked up. And he had a fucking attitude problem, and then Caroline turned around and called him a something cunt, and I was like, good for you, Caroline. Good for you. So in tonight's episode, Caroline and Elsa were talking about Marcus and how he was going off his nut, and he was saying, say it with your chest, say it with your chest, which we obviously didn't see the full thing that he was shouting about. See, when people say it with your chest, it fucking riles me. Somebody commented in one of my videos the day saying that apparently when Tasia whispered to Caroline, she says that her and Jenny were going to steal Frida's prayer mat, and I was like, there's no way. Surely not. Like, I didn't hear that, but that would be, like, not even funny. But she was saying to them, oh, like, do you wear makeup every day? Like, I never wear makeup. Like, at the very rarest occasion. But she was saying that when she prays, she's to wash her hand, wash her face and all that. So, like, how does that work if you're going to a wedding? Right? Because, I don't know, like, say you go to a Muslim wedding, right? What time do you usually go to that? What time does it usually start? Like, she prays 5 times a day. So, do people stop? Like, I don't know. I don't know what time you pray or whatever. Let me know in the comments if you know. But, like, how would that work? Do you go to a wedding and then stop to go and pray? Or what? It's very stressful, that, praying 5 times a day. And then she says, oh, it's good, it's like good discipline. And Caroline says, I don't like discipline. Same. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like being bossed about. I don't even like it when I'm going to do something and then somebody says, oh, when are you doing that? Bitch, no, it's not getting done. So it was time for nominations. Let me know in the comments if you were surprised by any of the nominations. I was surprised every single time somebody nominated Tate. Like, he sits on the fence. Maybe it's because he's a shite bag, and maybe it's because he's just not interested in the conversations that they're having. As he said before, like, there's no point in getting involved in a conversation when you don't know that much about the subject. Cameron didn't get any nominations. Oh yeah. Cameron to win. I absolutely fucking love him. As the episodes are going on, I love him more. I just need him to win. One nomination that I found interesting was when Richard nominated Faye because she says Jesus Christ all the time. And he says she's the one who's always offended by certain language, and you would think that she would take that into consideration with other people. But has he ever voiced his thoughts on it? Like, has he ever went to her and says, oh, I don't really like it when people say Jesus Christ in that way? Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise, she's not a fucking psychic medium. So Nancy, Tasia and Faye are up for nomination. And if I'm being completely honest, there's none of them that would leave that I would be like, oh, I'm really sad about that. And to be fair, there's not that many people in the house that would leave that I would really care that much about. But who are we voting to stay? I think I'm going to vote for Tate to stay because Tasia's constantly just like, oh, I want my mum. Like, if somebody says to me, oh, I think you're easily influenced, or like the things that they're saying to her, I'd be like, well, you're wrong, and then I would prove them wrong instead of being like, oh, I want my mum. But she is only young, do you know what I mean? So maybe her mum's like her best friend. Faye Shola, I don't really mind, but I do think that a lot of people are going to her as like the leader of the house. That's not her fault. Nancy, she can go. And just because Tate doesn't really like get into arguments and he kind of sits on the fence, I mean, not everybody has to be opinionated, not everybody has to be the loudest, and do you know what I mean? Like, not everybody has to do all that. Like, it's okay sometimes to just be chilled. So, what the fuck was that house meeting all about? It was so bizarre, because Frida was like, oh, what can we do in the house to bring the energy up? We can do Indian head massages, makeup tutorials, and they're just kind of going like, I am not a clown, I'm not an entertainer, like, we're just real people. We're not in the Big Brother house to be entertaining, we're in the Big Brother house to be us. And the whole situation was weird as fuck, and I was on Richard's side when he was like, are you done? And then Caroline did say to Frida that she wanted to do the shopping list, and then when Frida brought it up, Caroline kind of pushed like the thing onto her as if she didn't say that. But I feel like Frida saying that to the house, it's being performative. She's acting like she's the be-all and end-all of Big Brother. She was in there for a fucking week. Let me know what you thought of tonight's episode and who you're voting to save, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!